Welcome to the Women Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Amanda, the Money Healer. And today's episode is coming from our live webinars where you get to hang out with me and other women entrepreneurs to learn about money mindset, manifestation, and business scaling strategies and get your questions answered. To join us, go to thewomenentrepreneurpodcast.com where you'll see the link to register for the webinars at the top of the page. Can't wait to see you there. Let's open the floor for questions. Who has a question about fear or imposter syndrome right now before I share a little strategy here that I want us to journal on?
And I understand, and I work with a lot of, if not most of these ideas and concepts. I've been a coach for going on 8 years. And I don't even want to use the word struggle. I still feel that I'm in some level of confusion about what my zone of genius is. I know what it's not, and I think I spend a fair amount of time in my zone of competence, in my zone of, what's the one below genius? I can't even
There's
remember.
Excellence. Yep.
On some things. But really reaching that level of genius just feels, kind of out of my reach, I suppose.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share this because this will be helpful to everyone. If you go to, this is something that I get a question about a lot, and I just discovered a really awesome tool to work with this. So one thing I'm offering people is a zone of genius audit to help you really understand your working zone of genius, to maximize and capitalize on that and create every product, program, service, and build your business around it. And I get what you're saying because even as a zone of genius coach, a manifestation coach, helping people get aligned in their zone of genius, sometimes it's tricky to figure it out. And so I want everyone to know that that's available. We just literally created it today because I just discovered a new tool that I'm like, this is maybe one of the best tools I've ever seen in terms of figuring out how to detect what your working zone of genius is and to go, oh, okay. So I'll say here for everyone, the easiest strategy you can do on your own to start to detect is to do a scan of your entire life course. And I would say this is a list you're going to want to write out. It's going to take you a little bit of time and journal it, or, write it down even on a spreadsheet, potentially, however you like to organize data. And you want to write down every single job you've ever had, every single working situation you've had, and go through and write down the memories associated with those, and then highlight the areas that brought you joy. And this could be like in one area. What was the thing that brought you joy? Was it working with the people? Was it completing the task? Was it, coming up with the content? It depends on what you had. Here's an example. My first job was Dairy Queen, like my first paid job after, I nannied for some friends. It was Dairy Queen. And for me, I loved, going in and talking to the people and I'm really introverted, but when I know something, I really enjoy sharing and innovating. So I'd always be coming up with new ideas, and I loved that. And so you want to go back and you want to look at, what did I like about that job? What did I like about, those aspects of my business? For you, if you've been a coach for 8 years, you have a lot of experience. And so what I would do is go what parts of being a coach do I love the absolute most? What are the ones that this is funny, and this is going to sound interesting because what I've noticed most people do, especially if you struggle with imposter syndrome and not enoughness, and you think you've got to work hard for money, which are big money blocks that people have, is that you will offset the things you're most inspired by, thinking that I've got to check off all these to-dos to get to the thing I'm most inspired by. But then it drains your energy as you're doing all of the checking of the boxes, and you never get to the thing you enjoy. And then your business feels like drudgery and you can't even remember what brought you inspiration. And the things that are in your zone of genius are always going to make you feel good. They're always going to leave you feeling energetic, inspired, and feeling the most alive, whatever that means to you. I had a really big breakthrough today in my mastermind where I was like, oh my God, I keep telling people when they're in their zone of genius, they're going to have a whole bunch of ideas. And I realized today that the reason that's what happens to me is because I love to come up with ideas. That's part of my zone of genius. And I was like, oh, so it's not that everybody comes up with a whole bunch of ideas when they're in their zone of genius. It's that that's what I do in my zone of genius. And for other people, it might be that they're like, when I'm in my zone of genius, I love to get organized. That might be your zone of genius, right? And so it's clues to when you feel the most inspired, what are you doing? And then you want to reverse engineer your business from that place. And you know, this might sound a little bit crass, but I keep telling people, drop the shit you hate. Drop the shit that everyone's been telling you to do that is not in alignment for you. This is one thing I really dislike about coaching industry, or like, let's say solopreneur industry, is that there are 8 bajillion people telling you what to do all the time. I mean, you could literally spend your whole entire week just learning new strategies to build your business. And the most important strategy gets missed. And that's the one of you understanding your zone of genius so you can actually do the things you enjoy, because that's always what's going to magnetize money your way. And it might look very different than what everyone else has told you to do. It might be a completely different thing than, you know, I'll give an example. Like, I know a lot of people are super into doing like challenges right now, or boot camp, you know, like mini boot camps or something. And it's like, to me, I would never, that would be awful for me. I would feel totally drained by doing that. Some people, they grow $1 million businesses doing that. So you've got to find your thing that you enjoy doing, because remember, when you are selling your products and services from your zone of genius, it'll feel fun. You won't have fear. You'll drop the imposter syndrome and you'll be like, I cannot wait to get up and do this thing. That's how you want to feel. And those are clues to your zone of genius. Does that help? Awesome. Okay. For everyone listening or watching, if you just go to zoneofgeniusaudit.com, Zone of Genius Audit. Right now, it just directly links you to a link to work with me. It's a 90-minute session. And holy moly, I did one yesterday with someone and it was incredible. Like, it was so fun how much we were able to do in 90 minutes. And it was just, I was in my zone of genius and she got so much value out of it. And it was amazing. Thank you for listening to the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. If you want to learn actionable strategies that magnetize money as a woman entrepreneur, go to thewomanontrepreneurpodcast.com to register for an upcoming webinar. These are interactive webinars where you'll get to hang out with me and podcast fans live for powerful lessons about money mindset, manifestation, and business scaling strategies. Plus, there's live Q&A to get all of your questions answered. Again, go to thewomanontrepreneurpodcast.com and click on the button to register for a live webinar now.